Come on, Dahlia Sin. We are in part 3 of UK2.
And we're not stopping anytime soon. So buckle up.
Buckle up, bitches. It's actually pretty exciting to be not quite at the end of the season, because we're only going to do the next couple episodes. We're not finishing the whole season today like we normally would speed through it.
Well, and just like watching this season, you don't want it to end.
Yeah.
Us talking about this season, I don't want it to end, because this season is just such a wealth of everything you need in life.
And magic.
I
feel like, okay, so last time we talked, I remember mentioning that I was not feeling the spark that I felt the first time. Because like the first half of the season, it feels like the favoritism is so heavy.
Yeah.
The second half, after we've returned from the break, the 7-month break.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see that spark of what I loved about this season.
Period.
It took that break for, I think, production to sort of reset, for RuPaul to sort of reset, for the queens to reset. There's a lot that I'm seeing that I'm really enjoying again.
No, that's so true, because I think everyone came back with fresh lenses, and they were looking at the queens differently. They were handling challenges and distributing wins differently. It was really great.
It really was. And it's nice to see this. So, okay, the episode begins. Last we left off, the queens were told about COVID. They were told to pack it up, and they didn't have to go home, but they had to get the heck out of there. Veronica Green was very confident that she was going to make it to the end. The character storylines were really starting to develop right before the break. We were seeing a lot of critical things that production was doing.
Yeah.
And then it halts for 7 months. 7 is a long time. And I want to ask and I want to probe, what would that time do to you if you had to stop everything you were doing, whatever it was? Because I don't remember what you were doing for work at the time, but I was still working at Disneyland. And I feel like I was kind of getting my stride and setting up healthy work boundaries and feeling really good about where I was. And then the park shut down and I was gone out of work for a year and 2 months. So when they called me back in finally, I thought, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
I just am not even the same person I was. And that was a year that I had. They had 7 months.
Yeah. I was one of the people that I was let go of during the pandemic. Like, I didn't have a job to come back to. But I was just like living off unemployment, like kind of living my best life. But I think I said it last episode. If I was in that mentality of like, because I'm very like momentum based. Like, yeah. It's hard for me to get going and really get into something, but once I do get into something, I'm like all in.
Just going.
And so with Drag Race, like, I don't know. I just couldn't imagine, like, you have the couple weeks of prep and then it's happening and then it stops. And then you have to go home and think about everything you did in the first half.
Yeah, everything you did wrong.
And when you don't know when you're going to come back. Like, the other thing is they didn't know. Like,
they thought it'd be weeks.
Because, like, I don't know. I had a good lockdown because
me as well.
I didn't have a job anymore. I was making more from unemployment government cheddar than I made from the job I lost. So I was like, great. I'm set. And I was set for like a year until I had to like get a job, and it was great. But if I was in the middle of a commitment that is like pivotal to my entire career and it's televised and it just got put to a halt,
grinding,
I would be in shambles. Like, beyond just like all of the like fuckery of like the pandemic and what it does to your brain, like, I don't know, losing your momentum like that would really like mess me up.
Yeah.
But if you are struggling like some of these girls were, what a great recharge.
Like, this was such a good time for Bimini. Because Bimini got to kind of revamp everything that the judges weren't connecting with. Yeah. Same with people like Taste could sort of work on some of the humor things that maybe weren't connecting. And then we saw Sister completely change everything.
Oh, yeah, she worked it.
And then we saw queens like Lawrence, who I feel like I want to get into this later, not to like armchair psychology too early into this, but it seemed like Lawrence was kind of right in the middle of doing some personal work and then came back in without quite finishing that.
Yeah.
Sort of seemed distracted because she was still working on some of that stuff. You know, like when you start digging up your trauma and then you're like, oh, fuck, I'm not ready to deal with people right now.
Yeah.
I'm still working on this. It's very much how Lawrence came across for the remainder of the season. So we see this interesting shift where some of the heavy hitters sort of took a left swipe, and then some of the ones who were the underdog characters really rose to the top.
Well, and like if you're playing a game of Monopoly and you're really into that game of Monopoly and you're winning that game and you're like kind of ahead of these other people and then you put a pause on the game
for 7 months.
For 7 months, you go through all your personal stuff and then you come back.
Yeah.
Are you still going to, like, even if you were in the lead when you came back, like, are you going to be able to keep it up?
Right. You might not have Boardwalk yet. You might have just a good stretch of land, but then some bitch swoops in and is really competition ready.
Yeah.
They get all the other pieces and then you're done for.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating spectacle at this point. So everybody gets into the workroom. And we find out that Veronica is not here because she's tested positive for COVID.
Also, don't they like enter the workroom like it's like the
first drag
episode?
Looks. Yeah.
With like some of them have like entrance lines. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cute.
It was really cute. They have a welcome party.
Who was it that had their luggage with them?
A lot of them had stuff with them. They had like Ahura came in with a big basket. Bimini came in with a little box, like a lunchbox on a leash, and she was like, "Do you own a lunchbox?"
Oh my. Do you carry a lunchbox?
I wonder if that's what she was referencing.
I feel like it had to be Liz Anya.
It had to be. Bimini and Ahura have some All-Stars faces.
Okay, because Ahura's was already like WIP, I feel. But she was like, okay, now we're really doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And Bimini's, I mean, Bimini continues to get work. She's
Bimini
one of those girls.
Will always be getting work.
But... Well, yeah, they came All Stars ready, but then also sister witness protection program. She just looked like a different person out of drag.
Completely different person.
It's so strange. Like she doesn't look bad. Like it's a good face, but it's just interesting because that happens sometimes when people get plastic surgery or work done. Is like sometimes you might come out looking like a different person.
And sister looked different. Speaking of, do you think that Rue had work done too? Because Rue came in that ugly neon wig. Do you think that was to hide the seams?
Not the seams.
The seams, like when they give you the yang.
I'm picturing her like Dr. Finkelstein and
what's the
his
difference?
wife.
Yes.
The one he makes where the head just like there's the little like hand right there and it just opens.
Yes.
And then they put coffee enema in there.
It's injectable coffee enema.
But yeah, I mean, she stays plucked.
Yeah.
There have been multiple times where it's been like conjectured that she's had work done because she has like headscarves on consistently and stuff like that where she's covering. I mean,
because explain that wig, that unstyled neon green wig,
the Ginny Lemon special.
Do you think maybe it was that? Maybe she said, you know what, I'll rep Ginny with this ugly wig.
The fact that it was that shade of yellow.
That's true, but it was ugly.
Was it giving you lemon?
It was giving
me... Was it
me...
fancy a slice?
No, it was giving me Wish.
Woof. Big woof.
It was. So, I mean, would it have been that hard to wait like 2 weeks for Veronica? Is the question.
Poor girl.
Like, would it have been that detrimental to just say, okay, we're going to wait 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Or was Rue's visa almost up and they just couldn't keep her there
I don't know.
longer?
Well, because, like, are we going to talk about the lockdown episode?
I don't know if it's pertinent.
It kind of makes me sad. Well, specifically the Veronica portion.
Yeah, I chose this time to skip it.
Yeah. Well, because, like, her testing positive and not being able to come back, like, has a heavy toll on her.
I would be devastated.
And I think she carries that into her next season as well.
Right.
Because like her portion of that episode is like really like difficult to watch because like she's like really, really, really depressed.
Well, imagine you spend all of your money, bury yourself in debt to go on Drag Race.
Yeah.
Hoping that by the end of it, you're going to get to tour. Only to find out that not only do you not get to tour, but you kind of left on a villain edit. Oh. So people probably don't want you, even if they were doing some type of outdoor patio extravaganza situation or a parking lot gig, right? So then you then get COVID and you can't go back.
Yeah.
Then the show is airing a year and a half after you initially filmed it, and then nobody wants you still because of where you kind of are landing trajectory wise.
Yeah.
And then they call you immediately back to come into the show. So you've barely even had time to make some money.
Yeah.
Because you've been waiting this whole time, and then, I mean, that would be devastating.
Well, and also it's like, I know, it's like, say you have 4 months. I'm the type of person where I might not make the most of those 4 months.
Right.
I might just be like sitting around depressed doing my thing for 3 months, and then I'm like, fuck, like,
right.
Time's here. And like, I don't know, watching her part is just so like real and like so devastating because like she really was like bedlocked.
Yeah.
For a lot of it. And like, I don't know, it's just like I couldn't imagine like getting in the headspace to start prepping for Drag Race when like you can't even like get yourself out of bed.
Right.
So like, I don't know, it's so hard, but it's so raw, so real. Like what a woman.
I would have declined 3. I would have just said, you know what? 3's not for me. Can I come back to 4?
She would have been great for UK versus the world.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
Like waited for the first one or something. But
oh, yeah.
I hope that she gets another opportunity because like her story is very real, but also very sad. And like, I mean, that's like so many people where it's like you can be like the most talented, most like incredible, most captivating artist, performer, entertainer, whatever. But you can also like really struggle mentally, and that can just take you out completely. And like it will just like prevent you from being able to share that with the world, no matter how bad you want to.
Which is sad to see.
Yeah, and like that's such like a touching like story, and like it really like makes me love Veronica so much more because like I don't know, it's really cool to see them like share that as hard as it is. Like
right,
it's so real, and like that happens to so many artists, especially queer artists. I would say like
very commonly
there's so many obstacles like physically and mentally that prevent people from being able to share their art to their fullest. So yeah, much love to that woman.
Much love to Veronica. So I know we just spend a lot of time praising her. Do you think she would have gone far? I think she would have done okay in Revision.
I think she would have slayed this girl group challenge.
She would have done better.
I think she would have been in Joe's group. I don't know why.
She absolutely would have done better, though.
I think she would have been safe. She would have been like Ellie.
Yeah.
I think she would have. I think she would have been safe for the sewing challenge.
Definitely. She probably would have done fine in the stand-up.
I honestly think Beastenders. I think
Beastenders would be the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being the end for her. So, after Rue announces that she's not coming back, 3 furries enter the room.
Yes.
It's Joe, Cherry, and Estina. And one of them gets to come in and replace Veronica's empty spot. Ginny declined. I think was probably a better decision for Ginny to leave with that iconic moment. And then the girls have to decide by vote who they want to bring back. Who would you have brought in? What are the pros and cons of that?
See, it's very hard because like in retrospect, we know how wonderful Cherry is. And it would have been so amazing for her to get a second chance. But I understand the note she left on. You're kind of like, okay, not Cherry.
Right.
I think it really is like the people who know Estina know like probably like she's such a baddie and like she should have another chance she didn't get to. But I would have voted for Joe.
I would have voted for Joe as well because he had the least amount of time.
And even not knowing that she's a legend, I still felt like like it was a little too soon for her.
Yeah.
So I just felt like Joe seemed like the most obvious best choice. She didn't seem like a first out.
Yeah, no, not at all. What was interesting to me is that Estina didn't even shave. It was sort of...
Oh,
to
my
me,
God.
it came across like, I know I'm not going to come back, so I'm not going to bother shaving.
Chi-Chi and All Stars 3, like, don't pick me.
Yeah. I don't want to shave. Please don't make me do it. So Joe gets 5 votes.
5.
Astina gets 2 votes, and Cherry gets none. It kind of felt bad to watch Cherry get not a singular vote, especially knowing that that she's not with us anymore.
Yeah.
And watching back on this, it felt even worse.
Well, I think she was unfortunately like really underestimated,
right?
Especially like in real time in that group.
Absolutely. I understand why bringing back Joe was a good choice, because Joe really did not get to show as much as the others, and Joe was really unnecessarily in the bottom, and I think they all recognize that.
Yeah.
So then we're told that the returning mini challenge or maxi challenge is called Eurovision Song Contest, a spin-off Europop. Do you watch Europop at all?
I do not watch Eurovision.
I don't watch it.
I see news about it, but it's hard for me to get into because I have no idea what's happening.
Right, same. It's funny and entertaining sometimes, but
also it's okay because I don't think this challenge was very Eurovision at all.
No.
It's literally just the girl group challenge.
Yeah,
but they're like, it's Eurovision.
Teehee, Eurovision. So it's Joe and Lawrence as the team captains. They choose the names for their teams: Banana Drama and United King Dolls, which was brilliant. Ahora's United King Dolls was inspired. That was so smart. I will say, I only ever remember United King Dolls, like the Frock Destroyers. What was their name? Filth Harmony or something?
Filth Harmony.
Is that what their name was?
Filth Harmony. That's so interesting that both times the losing group does a riff on a girl group.
Yeah.
Fifth Harmony and Bananarama.
Yeah. And I don't remember them at all. They're so forgettable to me.
See, you gotta be original.
Yeah, the only thing I remember is when the girl group ended in season 1, and it cuts to Vivian being like, "That was pretty good." Or it's Crystal, and she goes, "They were pretty good."
Oh, she was like, "Well, they weren't awful or whatever."
And Vivian's just like, "Yeah." That's it.
No, that's good.
She's plucked as Zilla.
So plucked. That's
all I remember. So we have the most iconic song, I think, probably
Bing
ever.
Bang Bong.
Bing Bang Bong. I really want to just get straight into talking about this actual challenge. So there's really a lot to talk about with the recording and the choreography sessions.
I mean, it's like, it's what it always is.
Yeah.
You can, I mean, like, if you really want to get into that, you can get to like those podcasts that like review like the drama of the episode. But I feel like we're more so talking about like the overall package.
Right. We move into the challenge. There's no visual cohesion with United King Dolls at all. Lawrence is doing like a gender camp, cute dress.
They're pink.
Kind of, but Lawrence is pink and blue, and then Bimini's in a cowgirl suit. Tace is in a metallic bodysuit, and Ahora's in a different kind of bodysuit. They're so uncohesive at all. Oh, bless you. Bless you. We're dying. Let's take a break. Weird.
It was so weird. It wasn't celebrities or anything. It was just like random men, and they're like, "Would you do this?" It was so weird.
Random Tumblr pictures, probably.
Yeah. Not even Tumblr pictures, like Facebook.
Photo bucket.
Flickr.
Well, we're back from our little sneeze break. We were talking about...
Sorry, everyone.
Yes, so sorry.
So unprofessional. It's not like
sorry, not
me,
sorry.
It's my first day. I'm so sorry. I'm just so nervous. I've never done this before.
She's new here. Don't worry. She'll be better tomorrow. She'll learn how to pick up the phones correctly. So we were talking about the Frock Destroyers. Frock Destroyers?
What year is it?
We're talking about United Kingdom season 1. Talking about the United King Dolls. They were not cohesive at all, but I feel like they did that thing in a girl group that you're supposed to do where you give a blurb about yourself and then just have fun the rest of it.
Well, it was also very like Space Scuttles.
Yeah.
Like Bimini was like the crazy one, and like Taste was like, well, Ahura was the fashion one, but
Ahora's the
was, like,
fashion.
Ahora's like posh.
Yeah.
Taste is kind of like sporty.
She's the strutty. She can do anything.
Yeah, Taste is the do-it-all girl. She's the fierce do-it-all girl. She's Nicole Scherzinger.
Bimini is queer.
Bimini is queer and quirky and fun, and
We love fun.
And Lawrence is
funny. That's really all we get. Is that Lawrence can't do anything except be funny.
Yeah, very much TV show girl group. The funny one, the crazy one.
I liked their group so much.
The fashion one. And Taste would be kind of like the main girl.
Yes, completely. And I feel like they were really successful. Obviously, they won the challenge, but they're memorable. I remember everything about their lines more than I remember the other one. I will say to you, I didn't remember anything even having just watched it. I liked Sister's energy. The outfit was a little much. It was cute though, the plaid.
Okay, that's the thing is like talking about the groups. I remember like the entire song for King Dolls. Like I remember all of their verses.
I remember everything word for word.
I remember the outfits. I remember the verses. I remember all of it. And then suddenly we get to Banana Drama.
I don't remember a thing.
I do remember a little bit of Tia's verse.
See, I can't remember any of it, and I just watched it 24 hours ago. But you know what I think makes the United King Dolls so good? Is Bimini in the background being like, and it's going around and around.
Oh my God,
around and around.
Her contributions vocally were profound, to say the least.
And Lawrence being like, I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
Really hamming it up.
It's
they
so
went
good.
in. Where the other group, I feel like, was trying to just be cute and good singers.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were adding a lot of personality.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, they have Tia Kofi, for goodness sake. And Joe Black. How did they miss out on personality?
It's so funny because it's such a quirky group.
Yeah.
They really didn't lean into their... It was a bunch of quirky girls trying to be straight-laced pop stars.
Very much so. And I mean, Ellie looked cute. They didn't love her look, but I thought Ellie looked cute, but I didn't remember her at all. They were like super low energy. They're a whole group. So we get to the runway. It's day at the seaside. Did you have some standouts or anyone that you really loved?
Yes, this is a fierce runway.
It's so fun. What a cool category.
Yeah.
And they try to replicate this in other seasons. They end up always going nautical.
Yeah. And well, it's interesting because I feel like maybe this is just like very much a UK specific kind of prompt, but I would love to see this in the US, like a day at the pier or something.
Yeah.
Like beachside drag. But then everyone would probably just do like Baywatch. But
beach bodies. I would love if someone came out and did a Ruby's look. Do you remember Ruby's Diner?
Yes, totally. Like the diner on the pier.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
I love that aesthetic of like day on the pier, like at the water. Like it's a different vibe. It's a specific vibe. Mm-hmm. I mean, basically the winning group all had like some really stunning looks. I loved Bimini's like that.
So cute.
That
it's
like
seafoam.
nude gown, with the umbrella. Taste is probably my favorite of the group.
Really?
Yeah, sorry, not Taste. I don't know why I'm saying.
I mean, Taste looks pretty. Ahura is my favorite.
I think my favorites, my top 3 is Ahura, the woman I just said.
Taste.
Not
Bimini?
the other one, Bimini.
The other woman you just said.
Ahura, Bimini, and...
Did you watch the episode?
No. Ahura, Bimini, and Joe, honestly. I love Joe's look.
I was going to mention
and
Joe,
I know
too.
that like it's hard because Joe gets a lot of criticism for her performance look, but this runway look is so fun.
So stunning.
And I mean, we've seen like the windswept illusion a couple times, but I think Joe's is really good, and it's really appropriate because whenever I go to the beach, it's windy as hell.
It's windy as hell, and I'm getting blown all over the place. I will say...
Sounds like a good time.
Oh, come on, getting blown all over the place. I will say I felt like the presentation was a little more low-key than when we saw Chelsea Boy do it. Chelsea was running all over the stage and swirling everywhere, where Joe sort of just walked and was like, I'm here, and I'm Camp Joe Black.
It's Joe Black.
And the wind is blowing me.
Yeah, I'm here to hunt you.
That was one of her lines, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember like bits of... I remember that, and then it's like... I remember Sister's like... All eyes on me from afar, soon as I pull up the car. That's it.
That's all. That's it. Yeah, this was such a good challenge, I feel like. This was such a cool runway.
Agreed.
And we did get our copy. We got to hear the line, "Sister, sister," more like copy. What do you think about this?
Okay, I will say.
Let's talk about this. Let's get into the tea.
It's odd that she had a different look and changed it. Because it's one thing if she had it pre.
Right.
But post, I mean.
They talk about how she had a Pamela Anderson look.
Yeah.
For the beach runway, they all talked about it.
And it's like at the same time, if you're like on opposite sides of the room, maybe I can see that you wouldn't see that. But I'm curious how out, because you know how some girls, when they have their workroom set up, they have certain looks almost displayed. So you see them all the time. Like, is that look one that she saw or was it hidden?
That is the question.
Like, because you really had to be in the workroom to know.
Because they don't show us a lot of those things. Unless the girl has a station that's right by the doors, we won't see it. Because they try their best to try and hide their runways so we're surprised when it happens.
Yeah, well, because the girls usually also, the way they show it, they'll show looks that you've seen already. Like, those will be the ones on the front. And then usually, like, the hidden ones are the ones that they don't want you to see yet.
Right. So, I mean, getting accused on national television of stealing would put me on the defensive, even if it was true. I would probably act like a lunatic the rest of my time there.
Yeah.
Being accused of that in front of all of those people. But I want to talk really quickly about what happens during deliberation, because Rue is pissed. You mentioned Joe's look.
Yeah.
And Joe says that her dress is H&M. And Rue blows up to cataclysmic proportions that we haven't seen since Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
About how I don't want to see any more fucking H&M. Blows up. And the girls are just scared shitless.
Yeah.
And Rue talks about how she didn't fly all the way over here to see H&M clothes. And I remember Joe mentioning after the fact that she had to sell all her drag during pandemic. Because a lot of these girls were not getting money from the government because they didn't have actual jobs.
Yeah.
So I think Joe had to sell all her stuff in order to pay rent.
So that feels bad, knowing the context.
Yeah, that Joe did not have any drag to showcase. Probably was like, oh, well, I'm going back to Drag Race, so I guess I'll get some things together. But like, come on. And you know what? I almost feel like production knew that and told Rue after the fact, hey, just so you know, Joe doesn't have money. None of these girls have money.
Well, also with Joe, it's like she didn't even know if she was coming back.
Right.
She's not like a Hora or Bimini,
who had a guaranteed spot and
like,
knew to bring things.
She might have come back. So it's like, I don't know. Give her a little sympathy, Jesus Christ.
Right. And I wonder if production sat down Rue afterwards and said, hey, just so you know, the queens here didn't get any cash. I know in the US, a lot of those girls got money, but they didn't get any money here. Because I know they got something. They got some type of stimulus check like the rest of the world did. But I'm pretty sure those drag entertainers did not.
Yeah, whereas like a lot of us, we were sitting sweet on that government cheddar.
Yeah, even the girls that I used to work with that did not have jobs out of drag, they got something. They found ways to get money. So I wonder if that's why Rue apologized when they all came back. Because Rue apologizes for blowing up at them. That's a first. Can you think of a time where Rue apologized for blowing up?
Not like that. No, I can't think of. And like,
I can't either.
I don't know. Yeah, it was a little intense.
Yeah.
So maybe she was just not really putting herself in, because it did feel a little out of touch.
Yeah, it felt a little unempathetic.
Yeah.
Especially considering that this is the height of her guru thing, where she's really trying to tap into emotions and armchair psychology. Everybody, you know what I mean? So
Spill.
We go back to the runway, and the bottom two are Tia and Joe. They have to lip sync to "Don't Leave Me This Way," which midway through I was like, where have I heard this? And then I remembered season 3.
Yes.
They got a different version of this.
Yes, this is like a more like pop version.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Mimi and India version's the original.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I didn't look it up and I didn't put it in the notes. I'm a horrible host.
I mean, it's so hard because there's only 4 options, but do you agree with this bottom 2?
Not at all.
I do feel like Sister should have been there.
Absolutely. Especially because she had a kind of worse version of a runway that already showed up. Remember, I mean, Peppermint was not good in Snatch Game.
Yeah.
But a big point of contention why Peppermint was in the bottom was because she had a worse version of that Madonna runway than... Who was the other pink dress that came out that was identical to Shay. And Shay's was really good. And I feel like that was a big point of contention, is that she had kind of a worse look.
Yeah.
Of the two. And I almost feel like that should have been a punishment for Sister as well, on top of the fact that she wasn't stellar in the challenge. And I mean, yeah, Joe didn't really stand out. Joe didn't do a bad job. And Joe didn't look awful. And Joe's runway was really good. But that curse of the returning queen persists.
Yeah, okay, okay. Do you think it should have been Sister and Tia?
No. Okay.
Sister and Joe. I think it should have been Sister and Joe. Because I think Tia did a solid job. That was not bottom worthy.
I thought it should have been Ellie.
Oh my god, you better hate that little bitch.
I don't. I will. I'm going to hate her all day long.
Her verse was shit, but they gave her good critiques.
They did.
I personally did not like her verse, but they did.
I didn't like her verse. I thought her outfit was really cute, though. She looked beautiful.
That outfit was really cool.
Do you want to talk about that bird? I think we should talk about that seagull.
Listen, in the yellow polka dot bikini. A seagull in a yellow polka dot bikini. Itsy bitsy teeny weeny. Get into it, Henny.
With the duck beak. That was not a bird beak. That was a duck beak. It's a duck beak.
What's his name?
And the hair, the wig part, the feathers blend into hair. So that it's Womana. This whole look is so disturbing. Why does this bird have a cunty swimsuit?
That sentence is haunting me. Howard the Duck. That's what I was thinking of. Isn't it kind of giving Howard the Duck?
Show me this Howard the Duck.
Hold on.
I feel like this is going to be cursed imagery. I'm going to get a phone call in a couple of days.
Isn't it kind of giving Howard the Duck?
Dark-sided. Yes. That's
I was having a hard time trying to find the...
What is this from?
It's a movie from 1986.
You better deep cut.
I don't know how well known this film is.
You better deep cut to 1986.
But it looked... Ellie's beak and like everything, it's giving...
It should have been Sister and Ellie.
It's giving
that is Howard the Duck.
I think Joe and Sister.
Okay.
Final answer.
I thought Joe's runway was so good that I thought it should have been the determining factor of, okay, because of that gown, you're safe as
Just
fuck.
because of that Just because of that windblown look, bitch. You're safe as fuck.
Come on, Jasmine Masters. So the continuing queen or the returning queen persists. That curse. Girl groups continue to be all winners. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like it up until that one time where it was like 8 of them.
Oh, right. Wasn't that in season 4 or something?
Yeah, was it the most recent? No,
in season 5 ago. They changed it and they only gave it to one.
Yeah, 2 seasons ago. The season with Dakota Schiffer.
Right. A bunch of people won that one, I remember. So then we move into episode 6. We got the Snatch Game coming up. So I want to talk really quick about Tia's trajectory. Because she was in the bottom this season for that first sewing challenge.
Yeah.
She was in the bottom for the girl group. And she goes home in Snatch Game.
Yeah.
These are all challenges she wins in UK versus the World 2.
Whoa.
She won the ball.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. She won the ball. She won the 7, the Rusical, or 6? It was 7.
13, 22,
22, 69,
18.
Whatever that number was that she won. 7, the Rusical. And she also won the Snatch Game. Those were her top challenges in UK versus the World 2. She goes from the bottom all the way to the top. And I think it speaks to her charisma, her uniqueness, her nerve, and her talent. That she had everything. She just did not have any of the fashion sensibility. She had no idea what she was doing with her body. She had absolutely no clue. And she probably
drag her.
She didn't. And she probably didn't have the money either. She was maxed out in the Bank of England. They were not going to give her another business loan. And she had 4 inches of felt and made that ice cream costume.
Fat, nasty, and broke as hell.
What is that from?
Isn't it that tweet about Christina Aguilera? I think about it so much, actually, talking about how she came on to her feature on Moves Like Jagger, where it's like she came onto this mad as hell. Hold on, wait. Oh, Fat, Nasty, and Broke. Yeah. Let me, can I recite this?
I wish you would.
This tweet is actually Bible to me. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's just a random tweet of a stan talking about Christina Aguilera's feature on Maroon 5's Moves Like Jagger.
Oh, no.
Christina was at her lowest, ... Fat, nasty, and broke. Career in shambles. She came on this bitch mad as hell. !
I love that structure as a meme. Third out allegations. She had a French woman. An air guitar in a dream.
Please.
I love that format. It's so good. I saw one today about Tia Kofi that made me giggle, and it was about that finale. Hold on, I'm going to read it because it was so funny. It was about the finale lip sync from UK versus the World 2. Rent due. Marina Summers controversially eliminated. Landlord on her neck. Light bill overdue. Mad twinks in her DMs. No black winners in UK. No gas, no water. A very pissed blue hydrangea. She had a flowy dress, a French woman, badly drawn eyebrows, and a mission to serve camp.
Oh my God.
A French woman was crazy because remember when Le Grand Dame hands her the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that meme format is everything to me. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about her trajectory because it is so fascinating when someone has everything right, but they just don't connect those pieces on Drag Race for whatever reason.
Well, and Tia was really the main or one of the main characters of the season until she left. I would say.
It was kind of a shocker to see her go home when she did.
Yeah.
And she was already kind of... The airplane was hitting turbulence in part 1.
Yeah, she was definitely buckled in.
Yeah, we saw that plane go down like in Lost. It split in half. The survivors went in every direction. They got captured by those others. And they went back in time.
Mama.
It was bad.
Darling.
It was bad for Tia's journey. But you know who is on an uphill? Bimini Bombulash.
Period.
I love Miss Bimini. Okay, so let's talk about the Snatch Game. I want to ask you, at this point, we've talked so many Snatch Games in this podcast.
Yeah.
By now, UK 2, we have 13 seasons done in the US, 5 US seasons, 1 Canada, 1 UK, 2 Thailands, and a partridge in a pear tree. What are you expecting from Snatch Game at this point, this late in the game?
It's so tricky because, the first one was solid. Mm-hmm. And it's different with these other franchises because with the US, I don't even know what to expect anymore.
Right.
But with the international franchises, I still feel a little bit of it's still new to them. Mm-hmm. So I still see a little bit of early Snatch Game, which is really the style I like, which is very true to the format. Mm-hmm. And kind of an eager attempt to both balance impersonation with funny. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem so Ru pandering just yet.
I expect the UK ones to be a little sharper. I think that usually in the UK they're a bit quicker and funnier than the US ones, especially with this season and last season, I would say.
Yeah, I really was having high hopes because they had the break to work on their characters even more.
True.
So I was expecting these to be the funniest fucking Snatch Games that I had ever seen. I don't know if they necessarily were, but there were some standouts. So we've got Gemma Collins as a guest who did not show up for the guest judge role, which I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, bummer.
That was kind of a bummer. We have Tia Kofi impersonating Mel B. Good or bad choice as a character? Horrible impersonation, but what do you think about as a character choice?
I think as a character choice, that's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Because I think any of the Spice Girls in the UK, I think, are a funny choice. Mm-hmm. She's a good caricature. I feel like you should play more into her as a guest, not a guest judge. Hers, is it Britain's Got Talent? X Factor?
Oh, yeah.
She's a judge on one of those reality competition shows.
She's kind of mean on there, isn't she?
She's harsh. She's intense. So
she was mean on season 7.
I feel like play into that because that's at least the Drag Race understanding of her.
Sure. We've got Sister as Sally Morgan.
Don't know her.
I don't know her either, but I do have some notes that we'll get into soon. I thought she was actually pretty solid. I think doing a psychic is always risky.
Yes.
We have not seen a good psychic done. Jeremy kind of did a decent
Jeremy's
one.
was pretty good.
Jeremy's was pretty solid. But I feel like a lot of the psychic role, it's not always that good. It's not always very solid. Then we've got Lawrence Cheney as Miriam Margolyes.
Great character choice.
You think?
I think so. It's because she's kind of a real life version of what Blue did with Mary Cherry.
Oh,
not
right.
Mary Cherry.
Mary Berry. Mary Cherry of Dracula. It took me a...
Not Mary Cherry. Tormentor of Sigourney Beaver. Snorgy.
Ooh, forgot about her for a second. Thank you for revitalizing my Dragula memory.
You know, it's the way I rewatched that season. I was actually living for Mary Cherry.
Were you?
Her Stay Puft look is crazy, and I love it.
Remember anything about Mary Cherry other than she was such an instigator?
She was, but I kind of lived for her on rewatch. Anyways,
so Blue's Mary Cherry.
Miriam Margolyes, she is, if you watch her on like Graham Norton or something, she is like an old woman who occasionally says filthy or like really unexpected things, and so I feel like she's a good choice. But Lawrence really flopped with her.
Flopped.
Yeah.
Flopzilla. Then we have Ellie as Matt Lucas.
I don't think I know who this is.
I don't either.
Well, okay, because there's also a person who plays. It's like if they, when they pick Catherine Tate, but it's a Catherine Tate character.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
Was it Michael Maguli who did that? I don't think that's it.
Michael Maguli. We just can't, Mr. Magoo. We just can't remember anybody's names today.
Michael Maruli.
Did Michael Maruli do it too? Because I remember Vivian did it, but did it as Nan.
Yeah, someone else did Catherine Tate, I think, but I can't remember.
I think as soon as, when did Caramel go home? Did she go home before the Snatch Game or after?
Ooh, she went after because she was what's her face?
I really only liked that season for Caramel, and when she was gone, I just checked out.
You're a Caramel stan.
I am a Caramel stan. I was there for Caramel and Tamara Thomas. I was there for them.
We love Tamara Thomas. Okay, actually, I do know who Matt Lucas is.
Oh,
it's this guy. I'm showing Jared pictures right now.
Can I tell you something?
Tell me, spill.
This is a hateful thing.
What?
So one time, I got a message from a gentleman who wanted me to meet him at his hotel.
I'm already stressed.
And he sent me photos, and he was like fairly attractive. It was good lighting. Everything looked nice. And I was in a mood to perform certain actions. So I showed up
with your mouth or with your
with my mouth.
Okay.
With my mouth. Yes. Oh, I wasn't sure how much you wanted to know. I mean, we're like siblings by marriage, so I don't know if you,
I mean, when you say you want to do actions, I'm just like,
okay,
like,
I was
going to do taxes.
I was going to give him head. And I was like in the mood for that. So I showed up, and he opened the door and looked like that man. But that man specifically as Tweedledee and Tweedledum in the Alice in Wonderland movie.
Oh, no.
Completely. This photo had to have been 8 years old that he sent me.
Oh, no.
I still sucked his dick.
I'm going to mute my mic.
Okay, please. I went in there with a mission. I got him done in 1 minute and 15 seconds. And he goes, "Do you want me to finish this fast?" And I thought in my head, yes, I do.
Please.
Please do. So there's that. What did you think about Rue telling Ellie to try and make her laugh the way that she would make her brother laugh? Because that seemed like a connection moment that Rue had not had with Ellie up until this point.
Yeah.
And Ellie was craving that before the break. Something.
Yeah.
And it seemed like, it didn't seem like Rue was forcing it at all.
No, it felt quite natural, actually.
Yeah.
Was this after? This was after the awkward
Why don't you
interaction.
say my name the same way?
Maybe RuPaul forgot about. She probably didn't know who any of those women were. And she came back.
Maybe.
She was like, "Oh my god, who are these people?
Oh
wait, Lawrence, I remember you."
Lawrence Cheney, I remember you.
And she's like, "Well, why don't I pay attention to this other Scottish one?" She's
Why don't I know her?
She's neat.
She's nice. She does the Lollipop Guild face.
Oh, please.
She does.
You said that last episode, didn't you?
I think so.
Rotted.
I am. I'm sorry. Then we have Taste as Jane Turner. Is Jane Turner an Aussie? Is that way?
I believe she's Australian. Yeah, Kath and Kim. You've never watched it, right?
No.
Super funny show. I really like Tastes because I think this is a great impersonation. I love that show.
It was good.
So I think it's a really funny character. It's two people who are friends IRL. It's basically like if, I don't know, Amy Poehler and Tina Fey did a show where they're like a mom and daughter. And like the daughter's super trashy, and like the mom's also kind of trashy, but she pretends like she's not trashy, and she has a new boyfriend, and like they're trying to make it work, but the daughter still lives with them. Like it's just a really funny, like kind of like slice of life show, but super chaotic. And
I kind of
like,
love that.
Yeah,
That's really fun. Then we have Ahura as Louise Spence, which I wrote in my notes. If Tina Burner's Snatch Game slayed.
Yesified Tina Burner.
Yesified Tina Burner.
Because I talked about they both had the leg prop.
Legs. And this would have happened probably right around the same time as filming for 13. So I wonder who did it first timeline wise.
Can I spill?
Please.
Ahura should not have been in the bottom for this.
Never.
It was really egregious to me that she was in the bottom for this, and I think she was justifiably mad.
Who would you have subbed out?
Literally anyone. Like, yeah. I'm sorry, but like she was funnier than most of the safe girls.
She was so funny in that voice.
The voice was funny, the impersonation was funny, the leg prop was funny, and also like even if it wasn't funny to you, I feel like she made a lot more effort and made a lot more swings that should have been rewarded compared to like some of the safe girlies who just kind of phoned it in. Like, I don't know, like Sister wasn't bad, but she was boring and forgettable. And then like
Ellie was kind of forgettable.
Ellie was forgettable and she didn't like nail the caricature.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. Also, Lawrence, well, she was already in the bottom,
Lawrence was already in the bottom.
Well, she should have had to lip sync twice because she was so bad.
They should have made her lip sync against two people.
Yeah.
Then we have Bimini doing Katie Price, which this might be
Iconic.
one of the best Snatch Games probably of all time. Easily.
I think about it often.
Is it cold in here or is it just my nipples?
Nipples.
So good. The moment where she said that Gemma was knocking at her door. I eventually let her out.
So funny.
And then when she said, as you know, it's been a hard year for me. My implants were held up at gunpoint. And then I walked in and my horses were cheating on me again.
Like,
what the fuck was that?
I'm pretty sure she took like a real Katie Price like interviews or something and then just totally warped it,
butchered it.
And that's like what I love. That's what I'm here for. It's so funny.
It was hysterical. How did Lawrence flop so hard? She said so much but said nothing.
She picked a great character. She's a funny girl and she still flopped. It's so weird.
It did nothing. I will say I liked what Sister did as a psychic character, but yeah, she was a little bit safe in some of her swings. I don't understand how Tia was so unfunny either, because she's a comedy queen. She referenced Eddie Murphy every single joke, and they never laughed.
It's so interesting because, like, the bottom two for this Snatch Game were, up until this point, who you would pinpoint to be the two funniest people in the room.
The dual winners of Snatch Game, theoretically.
Yeah, if you were to, like, prior to this, say, like, who's the funniest person in the room? Like, they would either say Tia or Lawrence. They're like, okay, who's the second funniest person in the room? And they'd probably say the other person.
Yeah. I would have never thought Bimini would win the Snatch Game. I mean, I will say I was Team Bimini from the get, like the jump. When she was in the bottom that first week, I thought, my front runner's out.
I think the thing about Bimini winning Snatch Game is it really shows that, like, she's so smart.
Yes.
Like, you can be, like, funny, but some people are funny without being smart.
Yeah.
Not that Lawrence or Tia aren't. But, like, Bimini's funniness really emerged because she's just so clever and so intelligent, and like her humor is just so great. Right.
It's in this point of the competition that, for me at least, I realized that Lawrence has no steam. Lawrence, the first part of the season, had this energy that was behind her, and she just seems tired and sad and not connected at all. And Bimini's got this wind that's behind her.
Yeah, she's charged.
Yeah, she came into play. All the storylines have changed. And I feel like because the girls are so different, production also really adjusted how they were handling them too. Sister's got a lot of momentum behind her too. Taste and Ahura, I feel like they're really there for the competition stuff.
Yeah.
And then Ellie and Tia are like, well, we're here to have fun until we go home.
Yeah.
Very much is their energy this second half. Our runway is a recycled season 10 category. Prehistoric. Remember we talked about this in season 10.
Yeah, because for half of the girls' bad girl looks for their like evil twin, they just did prehistoric. It was so strange.
Yeah, Cameron and Cracker, please mute this part. I thought they looked rancid in those looks. But you can unmute now, Cameron and Cracker. The prehistoric looks for this were so good.
Yeah, this was a really strong runway.
I love this runway. Do you have any standouts from this one?
So I mean, Bimini's is so unique.
It's different.
It's so different, so cool. I really have to give her props for that. Honestly, I do really love Sisters. Like, I love that hair. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it has to do with prehistoric, but it's very Flintstones to me. It is the glamified like prehistoric housewife. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is Ahura. Ahura's is dope.
Ooh, okay.
And I think about her throwing her fur coat on the ground like angrily. A lot.
I really love Taces. Do you remember in Martha's finale when they went to the end of the universe? And there were those creatures.
Doctor Who.
I was like, sorry,
who's Martha?
I thought I mentioned Doctor Who.
Took me a minute.
I didn't say it. In my head, I thought I said Doctor Who. And there were like those prehistoric cave people that were there that had the jagged teeth. That's what it reminded me of. Like prehistoric, but sort of sci-fi at the same time. It was very that to me. I love Tace's look. I agree. I don't think that Ahura should have been in the bottom. I think Ellie was worse. I do want to say, since I don't know if you have the looks pulled up right now, and I want you to scroll back and forth between Lawrence and Sister. There was no conversation this episode about her look being similar.
Oh.
But in the following episode, Ahura makes a comment. Who are you going to copy this week? There's only 3 of us left.
Oh.
Is she implying that Sister copied Lawrence, and maybe there was a conversation about that in Untucked, but they cut it?
I mean, they went similar with a stylized, it's an off-the-shoulder,
right,
same animal print dress.
Same exact animal print.
And they're both stylized. Hers
like
has the fringe and the bell sleeves, and then Lawrence is more flared. They both have like a glam hair.
Yeah.
And then Sister just did the bone like mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting. Very saucy.
Very, very saucy. So the bottom 2 is Tia and Lawrence. Crazy for Snatch Game.
Yeah,
I would have never thought this would be the combination. They have to lip sync to Touch Me All Night Long by Kathy Dennis. They were both kind of cringe.
They were both kind of cringe. I think Tia had lost steam. And it was hard to lip sync in that awkward little dress. I think Lawrence pulled out some of those good old club moves.
Yeah.
She slammed her knees.
She watched Tia
broke her kneecaps, shattered. Yeah. I mean, Lawrence definitely was hungry, which I appreciate.
And she knew she had the NHS afterwards.
Period. Yeah, she was protected.
Then we lose Tia Kofi. She's out.
Sad.
It was rip. I remember for me in the moment, this was kind of a surprise elimination, in my opinion. This was really surprising to me. I was not expecting for Tia to go.
And that was surprising to me.
It was.
Well, no, it's Tia. And, like, I don't know if I said this yet, but I really feel like Tia was, like, kind of the main character of UK2 until she went home.
Right.
And then it kind of shifted.
Yeah.
And I feel like Bimini was kind of the main character.
Oh, absolutely. Bimini has, like I said, she's got all this wind right now. Bimini is absolutely here to play. So we move into episode 7. It's called Lockdown Super Sheroes. And I mentioned that Ahura has this conversation, how that she only has 3 people left to copy. So I wonder, was there some type of conversation? And
about
Sister
Lawrence's.
even about the copying. And even Sister says it would be stupid of me to allow myself to listen to these comments.
Yeah.
Like she's been just hearing it nonstop. And it seems out of character for Ahura to be saying you copied me again and again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
Just like she said it once or twice. She said what she needed to say. Can't imagine that she'd just walk over and be like, hey, copycat. It doesn't really seem her personality, but I don't know. We're only seeing 45 minutes of 48 hours, so maybe that was the case.
Yeah, who knows?
But it did seem like with that, there's only 3 of us left to copy. It did seem like she was implying that she copied someone last week.
Well, and if she was still pressed about being copied and she saw it with someone else, she's probably going to say something.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, she copied me last week and now she's doing this, you know? If she's already activated about that and like looking for reasons to be mad about that.
Which is so funny because this week, Ahura copies sister in a way and shades her. Shady. We'll get into that in just a few minutes. They do the reading challenge, which is disappointing they didn't do this last week.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen what Tia would have said. Some standout reads for me were sister saying that Bimini's so dumb that when she heard the government was putting chips in people, she asked for a side of vegan mayo. And Lauren saying that Ellie was so stupid that she studied for her COVID test. Yeah. Those were standouts for me. They were incredible reads. The Maxi Challenge is turning some unconventional materials into super sheroes.
Huh.
So Raven comes into the room in dark mode to talk with everybody about their looks.
Shut your mouth. Shut it.
And gives some makeup tips to everyone.
Does she like praise Ellie's mug?
She does. She praises the doll. She worships the doll.
She worships the diva doll.
And then she tells Lawrence to fill in her acre between her eye and her eyebrow.
Shade.
She says she's got an acre.
She said RuPaul may like you more, but I don't.
This bitch likes you. Not me, Mom.
I'm not that bitch.
I'm not that bitch. Before we analyze the looks, I gotta ask, do you think that Bimini was fucking with them? She pulls out this rancid, ugly ass purple piece of garbage, wraps it around her mannequin with 2 balloon titties, sticks 2 palm leaves on it. Do you think she was pulling a Yada in All Star 6? And was just like, well, I mean, I'm making garbage.
I feel like she literally just had it at her hotel room and never sets foot in the workroom until the last day. Like, she was just like sewing away in her hotel room on that little thing and like living her best life. And yeah, she was there like, okay, I need to look busy. Like, now what?
Right. I feel like she was fucking with them. I feel like there's no way that she would have ever thought that that purple piece of fabric was going to be her outfit. I fully believe she was trolling them.
It didn't seem like her.
No. And then she glued together like 2 pieces of styrofoam into a panty and tried to put it on. Made a big show about it ripping in half. She was totally rickrolling those girls.
She was performing. She was
guaranteed.
She was giving them a show.
She was giving them life. She gave me life. So, is there anything else that's important? Other than Ahura is going in on Sister. She keeps calling her a copycat. And a lot of Lawrence's storyline right now is about her being bullied. And she talks a lot about how she was made fun of and how she used humor to cope.
Yeah.
And armchair psychology earlier her. I don't know if you did any mental work on yourself, but I know for me during the pandemic, I sat down and I really evaluated everything that was going on with me.
Yeah.
And I was working on boundaries really hard at that time.
Period.
There were a lot of people that I cut out because I just realized that they were not good for me.
Yeah.
And I was realizing a lot of my friendships were hollow. And so I was working on that. If I had that work cut midway through before I even got to finish it and had to go into a stressful environment like Drag Race, I probably would only be able to focus on that.
Wow,
And
so
part
true.
of me feels like Lawrence may have started to deal with some of that childhood trauma.
Yeah.
She had nothing else to do and then had to go back into Drag Race because everything up until now has been about her talking about how she can't do anything. Even her line in Bing Bang Bong is about how she can't dance, she can't sing, she can't do anything, but she can make you laugh.
Yeah.
And here she is talking about it again. And last episode, she was talking about it with Rue. How she just can't do anything but make people laugh. So I wonder if a lot of her storyline is coming out from her own pandemic journey, not getting fully resolved, you know?
Yeah. I do appreciate that though, because I think it really softens her character. Because she came off as kind of like a hard professional at the beginning, even though she is still so young and like so vulnerable. So I feel like it was good to see a different perspective of her in the second half, even if she is not doing as well in the challenges. Like you are seeing more of like who she is as a person, which I appreciate.
Because wasn't she voted as the cocky girl in the first half?
And it's like, it's hard. I think she was very guarded in the beginning, like looking back, because like not really knowing who she is, it's easy for it to seem like she's some type of way. But maybe that's not really how she's trying to come across. But she, because of how she has her walls up or how she navigates the world, like, so it was good to, I think, see a different side and like help sympathize with her.
I agree. We're seeing a little more of that human that's underneath Lawrence Cheney. So let's talk about the looks, because we have unconventional materials. I think we've talked plenty about these types of materials in past design challenges. They all kind of gravitate towards fabric-y stuff. Which I don't mind. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If this was Project Runway, I'd be like, no, use the shit. Don't use fabric.
Use the unconventional.
Right. But when it comes to Drag Race, I don't mind if they use fabric-y stuff, because they're not professional seamstresses.
No.
Especially like, you know, in comedy and acting, they don't criticize the girls for going slutty if they decide to go with the slutty character. That's what they know. They're not going to go for something outside of their wheelhouse.
Oh, good
You know
point.
what I mean? You know, if they go for something a little more expected in acting, improv, they don't tell them that they should have done something else. So I don't really think that they need to necessarily go for unconventional stuff here. And I feel like they pick and choose when they want to get mad at them for not using the right materials.
Yeah, right? Where it's like, this is already a hard enough challenge.
Their challenge was to create super heroes. So they had to talk about their pandemic journey. They do like a walkout.
Yeah.
And then they do a little spin transformation.
I hate it.
I hated that part. I thought it was unnecessary. And I didn't think any of these stories matched up with the costumes.
No, because I just don't think that it should have been a thing. So I don't think any of the girls really were focused on it in that way.
No. You know what I did think just now that was interesting?
Tell me.
Raven lip sync in a superhero challenge. So
Whoa.
it was obviously a really good pull to bring her in to talk to these girls.
She was familiar with the content. I didn't even think about that. They really ate that superhero challenge.
They really did. They should have not been in the bottom. Okay, so Tays's story is that she was a mess in lockdown. Now she's here to clean everything up. So she's got the Brillo pads and she's going to exfoliate COVID out of existence.
The Pokemon evolution of Bag of Chips is Brillo pad look.
Yes. What would her Pokemon name be? Brillochula.
Love it. Brillochia.
Brillochia.
Also, yeah, because we call it iron wool, right? That's iron wool.
Yeah,
I didn't know the term Brillo pad until UK.
Yeah. I would never use this material ever.
She must be in pain, especially after lip syncing. Spoiler.
She cut herself in the workroom, and she still kept working with this shit.
Yeah, that stuff is not fun. If you ever touch it with your bare hands, it's nasty.
It's gross. It smells.
Yeah.
It smells so bad. And then that's on her whole body and her coochie.
Right on the cooch.
I would have
just
never
right
used
on
that.
the cooch.
Just right on it.
Just.
What do you think about the actual design of this, though?
Like trying to picture it in like fabric, you mean?
Well,
like,
what do you think about what she did as a superhero look? Because this doesn't even read comic book to me at all. There's nothing superhero about it.
If it was okay, but if it was like latex, like the bodysuit, and then the arms were like puffed out, like it was like three like kind of puff sleeves where it was like vroom, vroom, vroom.
Oh, okay, I could maybe see that.
To me is a little more like graphic, comic booky, but in Brillo it's just a Brill no.
Oh, I see what you did. Dumb. Lawrence apparently was stinky and lazy in lockdown. So now she's Lawrence of Chania, and she wants to tickle everyone's funny bones.
IKEA bags.
With IKEA bags. That's how we're going to make everyone laugh. The power of savings for affordable or unaffordable furniture. IKEA really has upped their prices. They said, we're going to inflate the hell out of this market.
But I still go there.
Yeah. What do you think about this?
I actually quite like this look. I think it's quite well done.
It's kind of nautical.
It is a little bit, isn't it? It's a lot of things. It's a little nautical. It's a little like, saloon? Like the styling of like the arms and stuff.
Yeah, I can see that. There's something... What's the top half giving me? It's almost clowny.
I was going to say, it is a little clown too, like the orange puffs or whatever.
Yeah, it looks like a circus tent.
I mean, it's quite well done.
It's very well
constructed. The piping is really gorgeous. The corset she made is gorgeous. I
love those sleeves.
Love the sleeves, and the blue and orange combo shows that at least you have an eye for color. You understand color theory, so pop off, queen.
I love the headband. It's so nice. You know, I don't even mind that it's a bodysuit. That doesn't bother me at all.
No, well, okay. There's a difference between like a bodysuit, like a cheap provided bodysuit, and like she made all of this and it's tailored to her, and there's details and there's piping and there's, you know, there's color contrast. Like, this is a well-made bodysuit.
Absolutely. Then we've got Ahura, who spent time in lockdown playing with her big rolling pin. And she is repping the... That's what she said.
What was that about?
I think she wanted to say that she was beating out her meat. But I feel like she was like, let me try and figure out another way of saying this. Yeah,
how do I make this cute?
How can I say that I just spent 7 months masturbating endlessly without saying that? She's allegedly repping the NHS masked workers and uniting the country as COVID-19.
What an interesting name. But
absolutely.
That little frill-necked lizard that she
was
does.
So cool.
So fierce, and it's like, it's unexpected because it just looks like sleeves, and then it like puffs up like that. Yeah. And it's like, that feels like a character. That feels like something.
She looks like a superhero.
Like, I could imagine like she does that and then like projectiles come out. Like, that's when like she uses her power, you know?
Oh, it's like,
and then like pew, pew, pew,
and they come out of the shoulders and blast you. Yes, ma'am. The mesh detail that is up here on the chest is so nice. Plus, I mean, this is such a well constructed bodysuit.
Again, yeah, it's a bodysuit, but there's so much detailing, and like you can tell that she made it, and like the detailing in the waist, like you said, the mesh, so it's not just like a bare chest, or it's not latex all the way up, but like such a cool fabric choice in between. And then like, I'm just obsessed with those frilly sleeves. Like,
the frilly sleeves are so good.
So much fabric, so much volume. Like, you know, that took forever to get all of that situated in there and to look right.
I'm glad that it was just on the sleeves and it wasn't present on this skirt at all, because I feel like it would have been way too much if it was on there. I love the mask, this glitter mask.
Oh my god, yeah.
That is totally sister shade.
Blue mask with the red lip.
It's totally sister shade, right?
Sister, copy, shady.
It is, right? Like, there's no way. Did she ever confirm?
I don't know if she ever confirmed it, because they talked about it, but she was very tongue-in-cheek about it. Also, the fact that sister goes home in this episode when she's copying.
Such good story value.
Because sisters aren't even there to really like fight her about it in future episodes.
Yes, it's such good production. But I mean, this was rightfully one of the best design looks we've, I think, probably ever seen in the UK.
Yeah, it was so cool, and yeah, just so effective, and like actually creating like a moment with the garment itself is like so impressive.
I love that blue on her. Then we have Bimini, who was bored in quarantine, so now she's ready to recycle as Dr. Isabella blows a lot. I'm sorry. That was the story.
Just you staring at your notes, like blank-faced. Like, well, that's it.
Well, it's over.
What do you think about this look?
Okay. I'm obsessed.
Oh, yeah?
This fabric is gorgina.
Yeah.
I love the pop of red. A pop of color.
Yeah.
Is so lovely, and it tickles
like,
me.
It's lined with that, right?
Yeah. She talks about her glamorous high heels, which she doesn't show them off in this dress. That pussy slit, though, is hot. And then the collar, I mean, it does eat up her shoulder a little bit. I wish that maybe it came down. This is hot. The hair could be a tad sleeker on the sides.
Yeah, but I do love that sleek blonde hair on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that, like, I think just things could be shifted a little to be more flattering to her silhouette, but I like the colors. I like the fabrics. It feels very Bimini.
Feels super high fashion.
Yeah, I just think that, like, the points of the body were a little off. Like, she should have just focused on contouring it to the body a bit different. But I think it was cool. I think it was a valiant effort.
I wish she had worn a breastplate with this. That could have looked really cool.
And also, like, a little more in on the waist.
And maybe if we just redesigned the whole dress. You know, I think this looks really fun, and if she had not been rickrolling them with that ugly purple fabric all episode, she would have had more time to work on this.
True.
Because I feel like she knew what she was going to make. I feel like she looked at that fabric and knew exactly what she wanted to do, eyed that nobody was using it, and probably spent the whole day designing out how she wanted to make that.
Yeah.
And then just decided to fuck with everyone for the first 6 hours of the production day.
Yeah.
And then spent her last 4 hours putting this together. It looks rushed, but it looks intentional. Like, she knew what she wanted and she executed that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm kind of obsessed with it. Not as obsessed as I am with a Horace look, though.
Yeah, a Horace is next level.
It's everything. So then we've got Ellie Diamond, who in lockdown, everything was in black and white. We're pandering to Rue's love of Wizard of Oz again. And now she's exuberant Ellie to bring joy, love, kindness, and lollipops to everyone.
Come on, Lollipop Guild. You
Lollipop Guild. I'm telling you.
What?
It's cute.
It is cute. It's Lollipop Guild, but it's also giving me, what's that game called?
Twister?
No, the
Candyland.
Candyland, yeah.
Yes. Oh,
like
okay.
Princess Lollipop.
Princess Lolly.
And all that. Like, she's definitely giving me a Candyland queen.
Yeah. This is probably the only Super Shiro story that actually matched up with the look.
Yeah, and hers looks like something. Like, it doesn't look like a superhero, but it looks like a hero in, like, a kid's show.
Definitely. I could see her, like, if there was a Candyland manga.
Yes.
She would be Princess Lolly who saves the land from Lord Licorice, who's about to fuck up the kids, you know?
Period.
And, like, wrap them up in a vine of licorice and send them down to hell or something. Like, she looks like she's gonna to protect people.
To protect
and to save. She looks cute.
Yeah, she does look really good.
The asymmetry of the really intense pink on the one side on top of this twister pattern is really cool. I love using the lollipop as a wand almost.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. It looks a little more regal royal than it does Super Shiro.
Yeah, but still really well done. Like, a really cool look from her.
The girls hated this. They thought she should have been lip syncing for this.
I thought she did a good job.
Do you think it's jealousy that she's so put together?
A little bit, because she doesn't know what she's doing, like, for real.
Yeah. And it's not even that she missed the mark on the challenge. She knew exactly what she wanted and she made it.
Yeah.
And it looks good. This is well constructed for everything that's a part of this. It looks good.
It was definitely stronger than the bottom, too.
Yeah. So then the last one is Miss Copy, who in lockdown, she was slobby. So now she is the Garden of Sheeden. Okay, so then, okay, hold on. There is a plant that smells like corpses.
Corpse flower, yeah.
That's what this flower looks like.
The red one?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I kind of like the red flower.
It's really cool.
I don't like anything else. If she had done, like, a sleek nude and green, like, bodysuit, like, or jumpsuit, anything, and then had the red flower, like, to carry around, like, as a shield almost. I don't know.
There's so much going on with this.
Yeah, there's too much. I like the idea of it, but I don't like the execution at all.
Yeah, I don't really get body. I don't get a shape. I don't really get a good color story, because this nude satin is so reflective and shiny. It's almost distracting from the millions of vines that are all over her. And maybe she was trying to do like a nude Eve look.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah. I could see maybe that's where she was going. but it does not look like a nude bodysuit.
Well, in the workroom, she was very all in on this.
Yeah.
Like, she was very, like, not stubborn, but she was very confident in this and was not to be swayed in her execution. She knew what she wanted and how she was going to do it. And this was the product of that.
Do you think this was a good choice?
Well, no. But you live and you learn.
Right. A horror wins a week. Totally justified.
Obviously.
Well, we have eyes.
Yeah.
She's like, half of the season feels so different from the first half.
Right?
Because everybody seems to be winning the right challenges.
And it's also like the United King dolls in particular are really dominating.
Slaying. I was kind of confused because Lawrence got really good critiques, but was the last to be called safe.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Where they really went in on Bimini, but Bimini was called in the first couple people.
Yeah.
So it was like, is Bimini high? You kind of seemed like you were wishy-washy on hers, where you seemed like you loved Lawrence's outfit.
Because I feel like Lawrence was safe high, whereas Bimini might have been safe low.
Yeah, but they were called in opposite orders.
Yeah.
So it made me confused on where they actually sat. Sister and Tace have to lip sync to Don't Be So Hard on Yourself by Jess Glynn. Glynn?
Jess Glynn.
Jess Glynn. Jess has such a great voice for drag numbers, I feel like.
Her new album is incredible. It's all disco, and I'm waiting for some of those songs to be lip syncs because they're all like super dance, super disco, super queer friendly. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, her voice is really suitable to lip syncing, I feel like.
Yeah.
This is a really great song. I feel like they were both so encumbered by their costumes that they just did not lip sync very fiercely.
Yeah.
Even someone like Tace, who is so good at what she does, felt a little stuck in all that Brillo.
Yeah, and probably in pain.
Probably being cut up.
She gave a valiant effort though.
Yeah.
She did that dip.
That dip was hot.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Sister falling at the end?
Yeah. Hateful. Hateful.
What are you talking about? She fell at the end.
She like really staggers around when she lip syncs because she did it in the last one too against Ginny.
It seemed purposeful.
Where she kind of just like because she was a mummy.
The robot chicken, but as a mummy.
Yeah. It's very much like in Rocky Horror Picture Show, like Rocky taking his first steps. Yeah. Like when Frankenfurter's chasing him around the lab.
She is out, Miss Sister.
She created so much drama in the second half for being such a background character in the first half.
Yes.
She really came back, new face, full of drama.
Oh my god, this is a hateful comparison.
Oh my god.
But I mean, the second half really feels like All Stars.
Yeah.
She was the Gina Gum.
Not Gina Gum.
She was. She came back with all new everything and kind of masking because, I mean, Sister was not being herself at all. Sister was being someone else this whole time. Because, I mean, we talked about in the first half of the season that Sister was like, her aesthetic was kind of weird. She didn't really have a POV. Yeah. And then this time she came back and her POV still wasn't very clear, but it seemed like she was just trying to do what everyone else was doing.
Yeah.
And so she was just really masked and guarded and then created all this friction and then went out midway through and still had all this friction following her. Gia was the same way in All Stars.
Wow.
Came back not really being herself.
Yeah.
And created friction in the workroom and left mad as hell.
Fat, nasty, and broke.
I love Gina Gum. Gia, I know you're listening. I promise I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. Please don't unsubscribe.
Please don't unsub. I think you're great. Yeah, to be such an early out for the second half, she created a lot of drama.
Yeah. And like really just left a totally different impression than the first half.
Yeah. The trajectories are so interesting from the first half to the second one.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because I'm remembering why I loved this season so much.
Yeah.
The production is feeling so much fairer. Everybody feels like they're being judged correctly.
Yeah.
I'm seeing people thrive in ways that I want to see them thrive because they've had time to think about it.
Yeah.
Which leads me to something I said a couple of weeks ago that I would just love if this was live recorded.
What a concept.
Could you imagine if we got a situation where they're told the runway prompt and that's maybe the one pre-recorded thing, and the live thing that we see is them actually doing the challenge.
Yeah.
Whether it's doing some type of acting thing that's broadcast to us and then they do their runway walks, then we see them lip sync in real time, maybe with a couple hours difference. We get to kind of have our say in scoring and stuff, and then the following week they get to actually do stuff in real time, you know? I feel like that would benefit the cast so much more.
That'd be so fun.
Wouldn't it? Because they would get this benefit of having time to think about their drag, think about the critiques, scale up their drag if they need to, rather than invest in all of it early, find out that the judges hate it, and then they're stuck with it all season.
Yeah.
You know?
Here's a concept.
Okay.
Bring back the season 3 casting special.
Oh.
Make it a live special hosted by like the previous season winner or Miss Congeniality or something. But they one by one like announce who made it to the cast. And that kind of is like the kickoff to the season. And then like they announce the cast and then the cast gets ready and then the season starts. Because I think I said before in text to you, like, they could totally do it live where, like, the girls basically find out with the rest of the world when they are casted, as opposed to, like, having to worry about NDAs and everything. Like, the girls find out, and then, like, usually there's a month gap between the season being announced and the season starting. So if it was live, you announce the season, you announce the cast, and then the girls start getting ready, and then they have their month to get ready. And then it happens, but all that is happening like in real time in the public eye.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be fun.
That could be really fun. I would like that. So, before we finish, any controversial opinions about the second half of this season, where we're at right now?
I don't think it's controversial because I think people agree with me, but yeah, Ahura shouldn't have been low for Snatch Game.
Never.
She did really good, and I think she was justifiably upset for being low because she did a great job.
Joe Black should not have been in the bottom for Bing Bang Bong.
Oh, okay.
That's my spicy take. Joe was so incorrectly in the bottom, but I thought Joe was incorrectly in the bottom the first time around too. They just hated Joe Black. Rue said, fuck this shady bitch Joe Black.
Yeah. Fuck this young bitch pretending to be an old bitch. Looking like Glenn Close. I don't like it. Maybe she hates Glenn Close. She has a problem with Glenn Close, so she sees it in Joe and it's hard for her. She
said, Glenn Close, get that Glenn far away from me.
She sees Joe Black. She's like, I just hate how you treated those puppies. Those Dalmatians didn't deserve that. You were so evil. I can't forgive you for that. And then she sends her home. I just hated you in 101 Dalmatians.
I'm going to pass away. Hold on, I'm regaining my strength. I was waiting for a singular Chi-Chi reference and I could not figure out where to incorporate it. I'm so glad you did it.
You know I got you.
You're good for it. Next time is a comedy. Is this a comedy one? We're going up to the comedy challenge.
Which I kind of like forget about a lot.
I blocked this one out.
I
don't remember it.
Yeah.
I just remember not a joke, just a fact. That's all I recall.
So real.
I don't recall anything else.
I like for real forget about this episode so much.
I'm so scared.
The live stand-up episodes in general are pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. Where we're at right now in the competition, I know we already know that Lawrence wins.
Yeah.
Do you feel like at this point, did you think that Lawrence was going to win?
When I was watching it at the time, I thought Bimini had it.
I thought this was Bimini or Horace.
I thought Bimini had a great narrative of coming back and really slaying, and I thought she would have made a great winner with that narrative, and I held that all the way to the last episode.
Same here. It's still, watching it again, it still shocks me that Lawrence won, because she's got zero energy this second half. She just seems so ready to just not be there.
Especially because even like things like Beastenders jumping ahead, there are moments where you're like, she's got this, and she like doesn't deliver. But you know, it's hard because in the grand scheme of things, she's been so great post.
Right.
She's been a great winner in the pantheon. Like I think she's had a great presence post show, but she's really faltering right now, like where we're at in the season.
I was also thinking that United King Dolls was going to be top 4.
Yes.
But we'll get to that next week when we finish up this season.
Yeah.
And we will chat with you next week. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, you're doing a great job. You're doing the best you can, and that is all you can do. And goodbye.
Bye.
Bing, bang, bong.